Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. There is a lot of breaking news about Orlando that is absolutely changing what our view is of this marketplace. It is definitely shifting in real time. There's some interesting things in the data, and if you do not have proper context, you might be alarmed or you might be asleep. Neither one of those are good options. But with this, obviously with this channel, we're dedicated to making sure that you are the smartest homeowner or potential home buyer around when considering the Orlando marketplace, because that's what we're dedicated to update you on. Today, we're going to talk to you about some key updates in the marketplace. And before I kind of break into that, let me show you this recent headline where Orlando was #1 on a list for cold feet for home buyers that are backing out and canceling deals. This is fascinating. #1, we had a record number of cancellations nationwide. So that's the starting point. This is an update on a national level. And forgive me, by the way, this is going to be a live stream. So give me grace if I make mistakes. It's not easy to talk for 10 minutes without having an editor make you look good on video. But let's jump in. Cold feet, home buyers backed out deals at record in June. This is what I want to show you. Look at this. In Orlando, 900 home purchase agreements were canceled in June, equal to 21% of homes that went under contract in the month. Now, this is the fascinating thing. So, Jared, what is this about? Well, #1, huge headline, which was buyers are falling out. They're finding reasons to cancel their deals. This is what you want to take from that. And #2, Orlando had the most buyers with cold feet. This is important to look at because what this is telling us is that buyers feel they have a lot of options in Orlando now, okay? And I will tell you, I watch all the major markets on a different channel here on YouTube where I cover Miami and Tampa. Orlando is in the best shape out of all of them, even the darling of the country, Miami. We are the only market out of 4, Tampa, Jax, Miami, and Orlando. We are the only one still considered a neutral market. Okay, we're no longer a seller's market by numbers. We are balanced. The other 3 are buyer market, according to a multiplier of economists I could quote, Zillow being the first. Looking at all the indexes that are out there, we are ahead. But again, we're suffering the same situation of other marketplaces. We're starting to see, and you would say, why do buyers cancel? Why is that turning up? Well, remember when the job market was, when people needed to hire somebody really, really bad, and they couldn't hire fast enough. And people, we used to have what's called quits data, the amount of people that quit. I think it's the JOLTS report that comes out and brings that up. The amount of people that quit indicate that people would hop to another place that they felt was better. So buyers kept moving around. Well, now the JOLTS report is showing that quits are very low. Well, right now, buyers are quitting at a higher rate, which means they're the prettiest at the ball. They're the upper hand. They're in strength. And they feel that, hey, I don't have to mess with the seller. If this seller doesn't want to, bend on whatever it is they found, the buyer might come in and find insurance is higher than they expected. There's some things in the inspection they didn't expect. They might have found another house at the market across the street while they were trying to buy this one, and they cancel. So quits are increasing, and it's something to keep our eye on. But let's take a look. I want to show you the video that I'm going to bring up. I'm going to actually do a deep dive in this to Seminole County. Okay, we're going to do Seminole County overview, countywide data, most recent month on record. The data that I'm pulling for you on screen is single family homes data across the National Florida Association of Realtors. Comes from NAR, the national reps provide this for us. But basically, this is data of our marketplace from the back end. Take a look at this. This, for context, before I get into Seminole County, is the greater metropolitan area for Orlando, okay? What you're looking at is part of Lake County, Seminole, Orange, Osceola. This is the greater Orlando area as classified by the government. That's what an MSA or Metropolitan Statistical Area is. Let's take a look at this just to provide a backdrop, okay? Because we can obviously say, okay, well, this is what Orlando proper is doing. How is Seminole County doing against that? So you always want to have a base, okay? Is Seminole performing worse or better than the area? So it's a great way to look at data. And we all agree. I hear you saying yes. Here we go. So take a look at this. Closed sales down 14%. Okay. Remember, 2023 we're looking at June versus June. So this is June 23 versus June 24. I'm going to tell you the story as we go because data is boring, okay? The story here is we had a pathetic sell-off in 2023 and we have not recovered. So we're in moving season and this is not a good sign. So that means we're down 14%. Cash sales are down. This, by the way, is a factor why this is down. Interest rates are already high. Who can you rely on to buy a house? Cash buyers. Well, when 1 out of 5 of those bail, then it makes it even harder, okay? Now I'm going to pull the screen all the way down, okay? I want to go to the bottom. Months of supply. There we go. So take a look down here. Look at this. So metropolitan area of last year, we had 2 months supply. This year we're at 3.5. Okay, this is a big jump. So we're up 75%. This is basically the explanation of this is if you stopped listing houses, how long would it take you to sell off all the homes in the Central Florida area based on how fast they're selling? Because remember, we have a problem with buyers buying. I just told you closed sales are way down. It's a 3.5 month supply, okay? Active inventory is up 62.7%, almost 63%. Now, the reason why we're classified as still being neutral is because of this right here. 3.5 months of supply is not, it's probably historically not terribly high. That's probably what we typically ran in history. However, if we keep adding more active inventory in Orlando, we're going to shift to a buyer's market categorically. But why are we having problems? Well, look right here. We have more listings coming to the market. So we're up almost 8% more people dropping houses into the market, 7% less buyers. And this is, if I pull up month after month, you're going to see that pendings are just not there. Buyers are not picking off what has become a lot more new listings in 2024. I should say a lot more than last year. Month after month, people in the Orlando market are dropping more inventory. Buyers are not absorbing them. Static unsold inventory is climbing. All right, so let's take a look at the marketplace in the market of Seminole County. Okay, so take a look at my screen. What you see right here is new pending sales, okay? And this is all single family and only in the county of Seminole, okay? The reason I want to start with pendings is because pendings is where the buyers are. If you have a buyer problem in your market, that means you are going to see a transitioning market. Now, the cool thing here, I'm going all the way back on the far left side. This is January of 2016. That is a good 4 to 5 years prior to pandemic times. And that's obviously when things got really weird and unusual. And people like to use the word not normal. It's not a normal market. That's a fair assessment. But look at this. You can see your marketplace in Seminole hovered above 600 at the peak and came just below 400 in the trough. Every year, you hovered between 4 and popped over 6 and just stayed in this market range for how many buyers were buying homes. Now, since the Federal Reserve right here started raising interest rates, look what has happened since. They barely are getting above the trough line in Seminole County, okay? Now, you have the good fortune, most likely in Seminole County, of not having a massive amount of new listings coming in, okay? Because if you had the amount of listings hitting the market that they were producing back here in history, there'd be a massive amount of unsold inventory. So, but one thing you can see right here, this is the alarming part of our market right now, okay? Take a look down at the bottom, okay? This is a measure of your buyer activity, okay? Take a look. June, all the way back, down 9% buyers in June. By the way, remember Orlando is only down 7.7. So Seminole's down a little bit higher just for the same month, okay? There's probably some months where those notions are reversed. But you have down May, barely up in April, down March, dead even in February, way down in January. So on the aggregate this entire year, pendings are just off, okay? Let's take a look at active inventory because if you're adding a bunch of supply, how is it happening? How is it sitting now, okay? Look at what happened recently. So going back to early last year, this has been adding inventory in your market. It's steadily climbing higher and higher. The good news for your marketplace, Seminole County, is your running history is around 1,200 units. You're not quite there yet. So you are starting to add. That's why, this is we consider this to be a neutral market. Now the trend is going in a weird spot. Okay, this isn't doom and gloom. This is just analysis. This trend is weird, right? This is a month over month climbing addition of new unsold listings. Look at your data year over year, by the way, up 78, 86, 60, 49, 45, 20. Look at how much it's peaked lately over last summer. Okay. You can see that this right here, this, you say, Jared, I see this. This is the drop off where we ran out of listings and everybody in Seminole County was getting multiple offers. What is this? This is the interest rate hike. This is what 7% interest rates do when everybody here was pre-qualified at 3%. And the lender says, surprise, you don't have 3% anymore. And then, inventory just jumps because people are listing as planned. And there's a lot of fear right here. People were nervous that this was the end. And honestly, it's kind of bizarre that it's taking this long for this stretch to happen with elevated rates. This was the idea with elevated rates, is to create, to hinder demand to possibly correct prices. And we aren't seeing that. Let's take a look at your cash sales. Cash sales, look at history. So history around 100 units, and you're running below that lately. So you're a little down. This is the peak season. Look at all the cash winners. So your percentage of cash sales jumped here. That's because everybody got 20 offers on their property minimum. Some people got 50 offers back here. Cash was the winners. A lot of cash activity. But you can see this is a problem too, because this is dropping. Look at all the negative numbers. And you need the cash buyers to keep your market selling off in a high interest rate environment. So there you go. Let's take a look at your median sales price. Let's see how it is going. All right. So how would you characterize this? It's kind of flat, right? Very sustained flat move. So very, very slow. And again, so this is basically, you can come back, you can see it. This was your peak. It looks like you just cut back to just past peak again. So 454 was peak June 2022, which really is kind of the peak median sale price for every market. And then it bounced down. Remember the active inventory pile up? It drove your price down a little bit. And then it's kind of regained. It lost a little. And it's just kind of inching. This is flat. This is moving season. So, you say, Jared, what do you expect to happen from here? I think this is going to stay flat, and if depending on where your sales are, it might drop a little, the fall might be soft for this market. Let's see. We didn't look at closed sales yet. So again, look at how well timed this market was in the past. It was like up to 700 units, down to 4, up to 7, down to 4, up to 650, down to 4, up to 7. So year after year, you had this same market pattern. And then look how bad it's been lately. They're barely spent a few months above the trough. This is the trough side of the market. This is where usually you're bottoming, going back up. So interesting times. And again, this isn't, just so you know, I'm down on Seminole County. People get upset when you're talking about data. They're like, oh, he's depreciating my house. He took value from me. That's not that. I'm just showing it to you. This is the same scenario for a lot of Florida right now. All right. So months of supply. I think we didn't look at months of supply. The Orlando market was 3.5. Well, you're at 2.7. So look at this. Look how you're doing against the greater Orlando market. You remember, we looked at the Orlando market. It went from 2 months last year to 3.5 months this year. It was a 70% jump. You guys are up 93%. You are climbing fast. Look at this. 5 months ago, you were at 1.9. So January, you were at 1.9 months of supply. You've added almost 30% climb in half a year. This is sponsored by SpaceX. This is like straight up. And again, all it is to do that is the buyers are down here. Sellers are still just popping them out. You're still pushing listings in the market. This is what will, by the way, don't get caught up with actives. So don't get hyper focused on this. I'm talking to buyers and sellers right now. Let me help you both. When you look at this, sellers, don't get hung up on, oh, we're great. We're way here. And the history of our market runs around 1225 or we're like 9. Nope. That does not matter. This matters way more than that graph I just showed you. Is months of supply. Let me find it again. Here you go. This right here, this is a problem. Your months of supply is pushing the highest numbers you've ever seen in history. You are 1 or 2 months away from the highest months of supply that you've seen in this county going back to 2018. Okay. That matters. Okay. The months of supply is the feeling of the marketplace. That's how a seller, the sense of how fast their home will sell. It's a sense of the buyers in the market, like their sense of how much they can negotiate across the market. This is the real temperature, the blood work of your market's demand in real time. This is it. This is the economic snapshot that you have to look at. This is combining both ends of the road. It's not just looking at actives. It's looking at closings at the same time. It's combining the two factors. Again, though, and I'm telling you buyers, be careful because 2.7, you're less than 3 months of supply. I mean, depends on how patient your sellers are in that marketplace. If you got a good house, I mean, it's 2.7 is not crazy high. It is high for Seminole. Okay. When it's high for Seminole, people across Seminole County might react differently. Okay. Let me pull up another graph and I'm going to end the stream. Bear with me. Bear with me. So what you're seeing right here is the home price forecast. I'm going to flip to the counties. So this right here is this is a measure of the likelihood of your house prices falling. All this blue is high likelihood. Look at Osceola County. It's got one of the lowest numbers. You say, Jared, where does that number come from? How come Seminole is on the, it's on declining. It's on the declining side, but it's one of the higher numbers. It's more buoyant than the rest. This is a measure of price appreciation, how long it takes to sell, how much inventory is hitting, and how many price cuts are happening in your area. It's a total measure of several key metrics that indicate the future of a marketplace. Let me show you a couple things real quick. I want to see my favorite leading indicator, which is median new list price, median listing price year over year. And we look pretty good. Oh, that's interesting. You're 0. That's wild to me. So median listing price is the price that new owners are asking in the marketplace against prior year. So like right now, the median list price in Seminole County is negative 1.6%. But it's a very bouncy median. Like you can see, you say, Jared, what does that mean? Well, it means for the last 5 or 6 months, people that are putting their homes in the market are putting them in beneath the median of a year ago. Okay. That means it's a measure of the demand. I was telling you this. How does the market feel when it brings a home to the market? Does it feel confident, strong, everything's fine? You say, who's measuring that? That's the seller, the person putting their house in the market, setting the price, and their agent. They're collectively putting their heads together and making a determination. And certain homes do better than others. Okay. Certain homes, you might have a Castleberry that doesn't perform as well as, I don't know, Winter Springs or Oviedo or somewhere else. And forgive me if I just called out one of those cities in Orange County, because I think they're both in Seminole. But my point is, right now there's a sense that it's down, that it's negative. And it's been that way. You can see that probably for the past 8 months, it's gone below 0. And it has in the past. Okay. The reason I like this metric is because it's not common that this drops under the 0 line. So the 0 line's down. You say, look at that massive hill. Yeah, that was pandemic stimulus and everything else. But that's it for today's video. If you watched this far, show this channel some love. I'd appreciate it so much if you'd smash the like button for this kind of content. Drop down below. Tell me which marketplace I should do next. Really focusing on the central bands of the Central Florida market on this channel. And if you have not noticed my other channel, I have a big channel called Jared Jones on TV, where I cover larger topics in the context of Florida. We talk about the insurance crisis, the HOA crisis, crisis. Don't mean to make it that way, but that's, essentially I cover interesting topics that people are trying to sort out in relation to Florida. So that's it. Appreciate your support of the channel. We'll talk to you. We'll see you on the next one.